Today I talk about the first flight of a new airplane. In the latest video I talked about the rollout event and the ground testing of a new airplane. The phrase first flight is also known as maiden flight and takes place after the structural tests on ground. Logically, the maiden flight of a new aircraft type is an important step in the life of this aircraft type as well as for the airplane company, because it's the first time that it takes off. Normally, the first flight date is also a character in the airplane specifications. For example, the rollout event of the Boeing's 787-8 took place on 8th July 2007, and after ground tests the first flight took place on 15th December 2009. Due to this long waiting period, was the maiden flight a large medial event with a lot of spectators as well as with a lot of press. But that also applies to many other aircrafts, for example the first flight of the Airbus A380. So that there are often live streams to present this event. Normally the crowd stands next to the runway to have the perfect view of the first takeoff. So it came to that also planes which were kept secret at the rollout event are being presented to the public the first time. The procedure of a maiden flight is nearly always the same and starts with the startup of the airplane, followed by the pushback and taxi towards the runway. After the takeoff clearance, the new airplane takes off for the first time. After some flight time, the test pilots retract the gear for the first time, and on the maiden flight of the Airbus A321XLR also did some first tests like the flight controls, main systems or engines, like the flight envelope protections at lower and higher speeds. After around 4 hours and 35 minutes, they landed safely again. The new plane is flown by highly professional test pilots, which were trained on this new aircraft type in the simulator before the first flight. But they don't just usually fly this plane, they also document everything with the help of special measuring instruments. Logically, new planes are prototypes, so they don't have, for example, passenger seats, but water ballast tanks instead, which can be filled individually and also with the weight of a passenger. Sometimes the first planes don't meet the expectations of the plane maker and the buyer. This was the case, for example, with the Boeing 787-8. The first prototypes and first planes were heavier and so had a lower maximum takeoff weight. But with some fixes, they could meet the expectations of the plane maker and the buyer. In the next episode we take a look at the certification of a new plane, so stay tuned.